guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. If you're new here, my name is Paulina. This channel is all about beauty, and that includes skincare, makeup, and fragrances. We're going to talk about the best and worst fragrance releases of 2023. I was initially planning to film this video in early in January, but it did not really work out. I had some health issues and stuff. But it's still January, so let's just do that now. And let's focus 100% on 2024 from February. So I'm going to start with the top 3 best fragrance releases in my opinion. Obviously, everything I'm going to say here is just my opinion. I'm going to tell you why I think these fragrances are the best and the worst, but don't really take it too personally. Also, this is all based on the fragrances I purchased. There were plenty of fragrances released I haven't purchased for various reasons. Some of them I did not even want to buy because it's just completely not my thing, so I can't really judge. Very citrusy fragrances for one. This is completely not my thing, and I don't really see the reason of buying fragrances like that if I already know I'm not going to like that. But I did buy quite a lot of fragrances. In fact, I'm going to link the playlist with all 2023 fragrance releases I reviewed last year. It's going to be up here somewhere if you are interested in refreshing your memory and watching some of the older videos. But for now, let's focus on the best fragrances of 2023. So I'm going to start with this fragrance. By the way, I'm showing you these in no particular order, so the top 3 fragrance releases of 2023 is going to be just 3 best fragrances in my opinion. But it doesn't really mean that this is the first or the third place. It's just the 3 fragrances I'm going to mention are exceptional and all deserve to be mentioned here. So this is the first fragrance I'm going to talk about. One of the best fragrance releases in my opinion. And this is surprisingly Dolce & Gabbana. And I'm saying surprisingly because I don't usually love Dolce & Gabbana fragrances. Again, very personal thing. I know many people actually love some of their creations, but they're usually a little bit too fresh for me. But this fragrance just sounded so interesting that I decided to blind buy it. That was a very risky thing to do, but I do not regret. This is just so good. So this is a beautiful candied lemon fragrance. I mean, I don't really have anything that smells like that in my collection, at all. This is candied lemon. It has some vanilla in it. It has some rum, so it's slightly boozy, but I wouldn't say that rum note is prevalent there. It's mostly vanilla, some orange blossom, and this candied lemon. And it's just so, it's sweet, warm, comforting. It's a perfect lemon fragrance for winter. And I usually cannot stand lemon fragrances. Again, very personal. But this is just something else. This is not your regular lemon. This is stunning. I love this fragrance. I've been using this actually quite a lot this winter. Next up, we have a fragrance that's a little more summery, and this is Olympia Flora. So this is a flanker of the original Olympia fragrance, but to be honest, don't really focus on that too much. I don't really see many similarities between this fragrance and the original one, or to any of those previous flankers for that matter. This is a beautiful fruit scent. It's just so unique. I mean, it does remind me of fragrance actually, and this was Baby Doll by Yves Saint Laurent. This fragrance has been discontinued a long time ago, but this is probably the closest that we can get to that. I don't really have the Baby Doll fragrance to compare, but as far as I remember, there were some similarities. So this is a beautiful, sweet, fruity floral fragrance with this sorbet note with some vanilla. And if you think about that, you could imagine something that's very girly, almost celebrity-like fragrance. But trust me, it's nothing like that. This fragrance has quite a lot of patchouli added to that, and this composition is just so beautiful. This is actually advertised as a perfect scent for summer nights, and I think this is the best timing for this scent. It's just so lovely. Sweet, but not sickly sweet. It's more candy-like sweetness, but as I said, nothing juvenile about it. I love it. I think this is such a good fragrance. And then the last fragrance in this category, according to me again, is Elisa Elixir. To be honest, it was a little bit problematic for me to choose one fragrance only from this massive range of iris-based fragrances. I think iris in 2023 was all the rage. So many fragrance releases were built around iris, so it was a little bit difficult for me to choose the one I really liked. In the end, it was between this one and La Vie est Belle Iris Absolue, but I decided not to choose another flanker. This is a standalone fragrance, so I think it kind of deserves to be in this top 3, although I think there were actually quite a lot of like good releases this year. Although, as I said, this was not a super easy choice. So this is a very ambery iris with some orange blossom, obviously. Every time we talk about Elisa, there kind of has to be like orange blossom there. We have some amberwood, myrrh, benzoin, such a beautiful fragrance. And because it has some of this orange blossom here as well, I think it's like a little bit more suitable for like warmer days, but it's just such a stunning one, I think. By the way, I really love this idea of iris in like so many fragrances. Iris is this kind of powdery, almost kind of like old school or vintage like note, and I really like this in this kind of like refreshed modern version. So yeah, this is a brilliant idea, and I think this is actually one of the best iris based fragrance releases in last year. Okay, so we have the pleasant things out of the way. Let's talk about the fragrances I think were the worst releases of the year. And if any of those fragrances I'm going to mention like your favorite, don't hate me for that. This is just my personal opinion, and if your opinion differs, then that's fine. But I'm going to tell you why I think those fragrances are the worst. So I'm going to start with the biggest disappointment of mine. Like, oh my god, I was so disappointed. So this is Lancome La Nuit Trésor, and this is their Fleur de Nuit. So I expected a lot of things. I really love this range of fragrances. Pretty much every single fragrance I tried from this line, I loved it. Even though some flankers are pretty similar to like other flankers or the original one, I don't mind. I usually love these, but this smells like a flanker of Black Opium. And to be honest, I have some Black Opium flankers that are so much better than this, like so much more unique. So this is like your floral, fruity, slightly gourmandy fragrance with coffee. So yeah, pretty much Black Opium flanker in this kind of lovely La Nuit Trésor bottle. So the biggest disappointment of the year for me. I know that they're releasing a new flanker this year as well. I can't wait to see that. I hope they will redeem themselves this year. Next up, we have Angel Elixir. So yes, this is actually one of the worst fragrance releases of 2023 for more than one reason. So first of all, why is it even a flanker of Angel? Like, this has nothing to do with the original fragrance, like literally nothing to do, so it doesn't really make sense. I mean, I kind of know why they did that. Obviously, it's much easier to sell a flanker of a very popular fragrance, and obviously Angel and Alien were two most popular Mugler's fragrances, so it's much easier to sell flankers of those than creating a completely new fragrance. These things will always sell, right? Even if people are going to be disappointed in the end. But yeah, so this fragrance has nothing to do with the original scent, like nothing whatsoever. So that's like number one reason why this is actually not a great release. But you know, sometimes you have this completely different flanker and it is still good. This one, unfortunately, is pretty generic. I'm not saying this is a bad fragrance. This is a pretty generic ambery vanilla with some florals and some woodsy notes. So nothing really unique about it, and also it is quite pricey for what it is. But a plot twist. With that being said, I actually really love this fragrance. Like, I really do. I know this is not really worth the money. I would not recommend this, but I really like how it smells on my skin. It just goes with my skin chemistry, and that's like something I cannot deny. I really like how it smells on my skin. It's not something I will purchase. It's not something that makes me smell so unique that people ask me what fragrance this is. It really blends with my skin chemistry, and it just makes me smell good. So yeah, see, there can be like really bad releases, and there can be people who actually like them, so I'm the best example here. Okay, so we're going to finish this with like two fragrances, but it was like one release, and this is Ariana Grande Mod. So she released those two fragrances last year, and to be honest, this is again quite a big disappointment for me. So initially, Ariana's fragrances were very girly. I mean, she was very young at that time, so that kind of made sense. So these were like typical, almost like typical celebrity style kind of fragrances. I think her first two releases, which was Ari and Sweet Like Candy, were the most popular. Then she released a few more in this kind of like similar format. And then as she grew older, she started releasing fragrances that were like completely different. They did not really have the celebrity vibe at all. She just like dropped this celebrity fragrance vibe like completely. Her fragrances were more unique, almost like niche-esque. Her most popular fragrance, Cloud, was inspired by Baccarat Rouge a little bit, but it was a little bit sweeter, a little bit more coconutty. I think this was a really good fragrance, and it was not the only one I liked. I really liked her R.E.M. fragrance, the one with lavender. I really liked the Thank You Next 2.0. Do you know, the one that smelled a little bit like the Eden Juicy Apple from Kayali? That one. And I even liked the God is a Woman one. This was like a perfect kind of freshie for me. But then she decided to release these fragrances, and I don't know what to think anymore. So first of all, these fragrances smell like your typical celebrity fragrances. So I don't know what happened, why she decided to, you know, go back to what she used to create. It seems to me like these are supposed to be more kind of like mature version of these two fragrances. Like if you look at the colors, they kind of make sense as well, and there are like slight similarities. I think, you know, this the pink ones, this Mod Blush and the Sweet Like Candy, they're both a little bit like powdery, but I don't know. I mean, I think maybe this was the idea behind it, but I don't think it was necessary. I think for people who actually love these fragrances, they're still going to love them. And for people who like more unique fragrance, these are just not unique enough. Also, one thing I need to mention, I mean, look at the packaging. And I'm not even talking about the style, because, you know, when it comes to like Ariana Grande packaging, you can love it or you can hate it. I'm a little bit like torn. I kind of like these. Bottles are pretty cute, but I mostly don't really like those plasticky bits that I think they make everything look cheap, but that's my personal opinion, obviously. But if you look at the packaging of these two, this is made of like really nice thick glass. I mean, the sprayer thing is actually really nice. Even this puffy thing here, it just doesn't really come off, so it's made really nicely. And this is just plastic, and not that type of plastic that feels nice. It's just like a really cheap kind of like lightweight plastic. It just doesn't really feel good, it doesn't look good, and that's also a little bit disappointing. So if this was supposed to be like an upgrade to this, I don't think it worked, to be honest. Even if we forget about the packaging, still I think the fragrance is just not really, like nothing really amazing. This fragrance smells to me like a mixture of this one, Cloud, and God is a Woman. Like literally she just mixed several of her like older fragrances together. This one is a little bit more unique maybe, but it has that sourness and powderiness that this fragrance has. So like I'm not really sure. Also, these fragrances, they don't really last that great anyway. So the only good thing I can say about those fragrances is that they are not too expensive. So anyway, guys, this is everything from me today. Let me know what you think. Have you tried any of these fragrances? Do you agree with me, or do you think I got it like completely wrong? I would love to know your thoughts either way. Also, let me know which were the worst and the best fragrance releases of last year according to you. Thank you very much for watching. For more fragrance related content, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.